Good afternoon, sports fans, and welcome to Let's Go Mets Positive. Join me, your host, Martin Shea, as I look back on the Mets 2011 season in review, as I look forward to the positive aspects of 2011. Well, folks, unfortunately, our amazing Mets season is drawing towards the end, and it doesn't look like things are panning out the way we had expected them to in the spring. In fact, there's a possibility on the outside that they might not even win a World Series this year, but that's happened before. Anyway, through it all, there are many great positives that come through all the turmoil of the injuries, of the horrible bullpen play. The positives going forward for next year are going to be in the form of youth, young, hungry players with excitement, and the willingness to learn how to play better and wanting to be better, a manager and a GM with a vision. Now, folks, throughout the course of this year, I happened to come in contact with two gentlemen on YouTube by the names of Mets Thunder and Eric PABC. Now, these guys are young Met fans that are in their 20s, and they are avid and waving the banner proud. And I cannot tell you how proud I am of both of them guys, being that they're in their 20s, which means that they have never even tasted or felt the glory of the Mets. Okay, maybe they had a little tiny taste in 2000 with the pennant and 06 with the division championship, but they've never had the real parade. Well, guys, the rest of this show I want to dedicate to both of you, and I want to tell you a story. It's a true story. You make the comparisons to the team you see now. Back in 1983, the GM's name was Frank Cashin, and Mr. Cashin needed a manager. What he did was look and saw who was out there and then decided, you know, in my minor leagues, I got a guy that's just as good as any one of these guys. I'm going to give him a shot. So he called Dave Johnson. Johnson came up, took a look around the Mets, and saw what he had there, and he said to Frank Cashin, you know, I got some guys in the minors that are just as good as some of these guys here, and they know how to win. Although it's on a minor league level, they are used to winning. Cashin said, let's start bringing them up. Anyway, he started. He brought up guys like Darling, Strawberry, Backman. Later on, he added Gooden, Dykstra, and he put them on the field with real veteran winners. Guys like Keith Hernandez, who taught these guys how to play on a major league level, how to be alert, field your position, know what to anticipate, and know what to do with the ball when it comes to you. Then, of course, he had another veteran in Gary Carter behind the plate, who was more like a hero than anything else. Gary Carter was the type of guy that was like, you keep us close, guys, and I'll get us over the top, and the kid came through in most situations. And then, of course, his other veteran he had was a guy by the name of Ray Knight on third base, who came from a winning tradition over at Cincinnati with the Big Red Machine of the 70s. And what Ray Knight taught these guys was how to be tough, how to kick down doors, how to take no prisoners and give no quarter. And believe me, it worked, because these Mets went on a tear. They were like a bunch of pirates running through town. They were like a bunch of drunken Irish carpenters on payday every night. Did they fight outside? Yes. Did they fight amongst themselves? Yes. Did they end up in jail? Yes, they did. Were they criminals? Who knows? Maybe. But to Met fans like myself, who had to suffer through the Joe Torre and M. Donald Grant years of the 70s, they were more than a breath of fresh air. They were our heroes. They were our Mets. They gave us this town. We own the town because of these guys. And your parade is coming because your guys are these young guys that they got now that they're bringing up. Guys like Tolle, Davis, G, Turner, Murphy, Friday, Duda. These guys are all going to be your heroes, fellas. And I'm going to go over position by position now and tell you what I think in 2012, starting with the catchers. Polino probably won't be back. Totally I like. He's a pretty good hitter, and he can play the position. Nikias needs a little more polishing up, but he'll be ready to fill the bill when his time comes. First base, I think we're solid. We got Ike Davis. Ike is going to be a question mark with that ankle because they are very tricky injuries. But if it doesn't work out well with him, I got confidence in Nick Evans. Second base, we got Tejada and Turner. I happen to like them both as well. Tejada, in fact, has the possibility of becoming a mini Reyes. Maybe not with the power, but with the speed and getting on base. And plus, he can play the position as well. Shortstop, we got to sign Reyes. We need Jose. We need Jose because he's our best guy. Third base, I think we're solid over there with Wright, and we'll have guys to fill in for him. Guys like Murphy, Turner can play over there if he needs to in situations. The outfield, I like Duda out there in right field. Duda is going to be on next bopper. He has the possibilities. If he can hit 300, he could be our next Mike Piazza as far as the bat's concerned. And Pridey could back him up. Center field, I'm a little iffy on that because I do not have an awful lot of confidence in Angel Pagan to be an everyday center fielder. I believe he's best suited to be a utility player. But every time I'm ready to throw him right out the window, he gets a clutch hit somewhere, somehow. But I still don't have confidence in him as a center fielder. Now, Bay in right field, that one there is tricky. Because Bay, if he could only hit, he'd be the perfect guy. He is a good, solid fielder, and he plays like a professional, always hustling, which is what you want the young guys to pick up on. Now, if he could only hit. So, because of the way he plays and his professionalism, I'm giving him one more chance. He has until the All-Star break in 2012. If he's not hitting close to 300 by then, with some high power numbers, of course, as far as I'm concerned, he's through. Now, the pitching staff. Excuse me. I like our rotation. I'll take Santana, G, Neese, Pelfrey, and Dickey as my 5 starters. The order I think I'd like to see them go is Santana, then Dickey, then Neese. Because you got Santana with his pitching. Then you got that screwball going all over the place. The knuckleball, that is. I apologize. And then Neese with his curve and his fastball. Then 4 and 5, I don't know. Pelfrey or G. I think Pelfrey ought to go last because he works better if he has to prove something as opposed to being named the better guy. I don't know, that's just in my head. As far as the bullpen's concerned, I think they ought to clean the whole house out there, get some new bullpen guys, bring in a couple of veterans, and this team is ready to take over and give you guys the parade you deserve. Now, remember, folks, the rest of this season, we're not playing for a title. We're not playing for a playoff position. What we're playing for is today's game, and today's game only. Every game from now on is our 7th game of the World Series. With all that being said, folks, I'll see you in the spring for Let's Go Mets Positive!